Hello everybody and welcome to a new video. This is going to be a TBR bookshelf tour. I'm gonna basically give you a tour of my entire bookshelf, but I'm only gonna pick out the ones that I haven't read yet and that I'm aiming to finish reading in 2015. And I'm basically aiming to finish all the books that I own that I haven't read yet because I'm feeling inspired by the 0x16 challenge and the TBR Shelf challenge, except that I'm not actually gonna officially do those challenges because I don't want to feel disappointed if I don't reach them. But the plan is to get down every book that I own, that I owned as of January 1st, 2015, to get every single one of those books done. And yeah, that's the plan. So yeah, let's do a tour. Woo! Alright, so this is my first shelf. This is my sci-fi and young adult fiction shelf. I've sorted out all of my classics, non-fiction, and adult fiction books because I own a lot less of those. So I thought it would be best to, for the moment anyways, organize my shelves like you would find them in the teen section if the teen section was actually organized by genre under the category of young adult fiction. So the only book here that would go on my TBR is called Feed, and this is by M.T. Anderson. I bought this book the end of December. I actually already read it. I read it in high school a few years back. And I am just really looking forward to rereading it because I have a sort of love-hate relationship that I remember with this book. But I'd love to read it again to see if I hate it again. But it's still good. It's a love-hate thing, but it's still one of my favorite reads. Alright, so moving on to the second shelf here, we've got the last bit of the sci-fi novels moving into fantasy and high fantasy and paranormal fantasy, as well as ending on historical fiction, because that's where that fit. So, the books that I have on this shelf that are unread start with The Host. Now this book I actually have signed. It's signed in there by Stephanie Meyer when I met her in 2013, I believe. I have not read this book. I've heard rave things about it. Sana at Books and Quills really loves this book. I'm looking forward to reading it. I just haven't really been in the mood. I know it seems to be really long, and so that is definitely a deterrent, but I will read it this year. Also, fun fact about this book, it is water damaged. I spilled a glass of water and it fell right on top of the host one night, and that was quite the shame. In the centerpiece of this shelf is the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Now, I finished The Hobbit. I've read this twice. Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring, I just finished in December. It was one of my last books in 2014, and I hope to finish both The Two Towers and The Return of the King in 2015. I love the movies, and I don't know why it's taking me so long to read the books, but I'm going to get to it this year. Next you'll see here is The Beautiful Creatures. I got this actually at a book swap that me and my friends had, and so one of my friends gave this away and I snatched it up. It's not something I was particularly feeling an urgency to read, but I did want to read it. I was interested in the movie, although I haven't seen it. I'm a big fan of Zoe Deutsch, who starred in that movie. So I'll be getting to that in 2015. Also, my friend left her fun little bookmark in there. Lol, 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 lol. She didn't finish this book either, so I don't know what that says about that. Moving on to this shelf, this is my shelf of fiction that is classified as adult fiction, classic literature, poetry, dramas, as well as I believe there's a comic book that's kind of just stuck in there. So the first book on this shelf that is on my TBR list is Chinua Achebe's Things Fall Apart. This book, I read this in grade 10. I believe I read this in grade 10. So that was quite a few years ago, but I'm looking forward to rereading it. I picked it up at a used book sale at the library, and yeah, I'm pumped for that. So next on this shelf that is on my TBR list is If I Fall, If I Die by Michael Christie. He is a Canadian author, and I haven't read a lot of Canadian literature recently, so it'll be good to go back and support Canadian authors, which I'm really excited to do. Next on my TBR is Murder on the Orient Express by Agatha Christie. This is a mystery novel, as you know, Agatha Christie books. I have not read an Agatha Christie book, but I am looking forward to it. I got this book from the same book swap that I got Beautiful Creatures at, and that book swap actually happened pretty soon after the Doctor Who episode aired that was sort of inspired by Murder on the Orient Express. So yeah, that'll be cool to get reading. Next on the TBR is the book right beside Murder on the Orient Express, which is Wayne Grady's Emancipation Day. Now, I'm not sure if this would actually qualify as YA, but maybe it would because the characters are YA, I believe. And so this is a very nice book. It has the nice ruffled edges. Yeah, it just looks really cool. It's set in the Jazz Age. I also got this from the book swap. Same book swap. Got a lot of books. It was fun. Now this book, The 10th Gift by Jane Johnson, I got as a gift from a neighbor. It's not on my TBR list this year because the neighbor kind of just gave it because she hadn't read it forever and she thought that, oh, you know, kids, they read books. Let's give it to the neighbor kids. But I haven't read it. I haven't even read any Diana Gabaldon books. Gabaldon. She has written the Outlander series, and she blurbed this book, but I've not read her books either. So this is not on my TBR list, but I thought I'd let you know that it's a book I own that I haven't read yet. The next book I've got on my TBR list is The 100-Year-Old Man Who Climbed Out the Window and Disappeared by Jonas Jonasson. I have heard of a lot of people reading this book. Obviously, it's an international best-selling sensation. So I will read this book this year. I actually had one friend recommend it, and I trust her opinion, so hopefully it's great. I also got this at the book swap. So next one is also from the book swap, Atonement by Ian McEwan. And I love me some Keira Knightley. Haven't seen this movie, but you know, Kira's on the front. When I read it, I will also watch the film. Next on the TBR is Jodi Picoult's My Sister's Keeper. Picoult? I'm sorry. This is also the movie cover. My sister has actually read this book, and she enjoyed it. I got this from the book swap. I remember wanting to see the movie, and for some reason not going to see the movie, but I will read this book and watch a movie. Next on the TBR list is East of Eden by John Steinbeck. I have read Of Mice and Men by John Steinbeck, but that's far shorter than East of Eden, obviously. I actually started East of Eden. I got about a third of the way through, and then I had to return it to the library, and I bought this East of Eden copy, this beautiful copy, by the way, the Steinbeck Centennial Edition from Penguin. I bought this with one of my first paychecks in 2014, so yeah, I'm gonna be excited to start this over. I remember thinking it was kind of creepy, kind of weird, but also a book that makes you think a lot about how people are connected in a community. So that'll be fun to read. Also, it's one of Kristen Stewart's favorite books, and I love me some Kristen Stewart, so yeah. Next, Persuasion. This is also a very, very pretty Penguin Classics Deluxe Edition. I have only read Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen, but I'd love to read more. I did enjoy Pride and Prejudice by the time I got to the end of it. And so I'm looking forward to this one. I got it from a thrift store, actually. So cool, but it was still kind of expensive for thrift store prices. I think I paid something like $7 for it. Speaking of Jane Austen, I have Pride and Prejudice and Zombies. This is turning into a movie, and Matt Smith is going to be in it. So I need to read this before that movie comes out. And preferably before more news of it comes out, so I can kind of picture it on my own. I know it's a parody book, but it looks really funny. Pride and Prejudice, zombies. I haven't read a zombie book in a while. Last one I read was like in July or something. So yeah, we'll get on to this, and this is gonna be fun. And last here on my to be read list from this shelf is Tom Sawyer by Mark Twain. Now, this is actually a bind-up of Tom Sawyer and Huckleberry Finn, but I've already read Huckleberry Finn. I just need to read Tom Sawyer. I think most people start with Tom Sawyer and go to Huckleberry Finn, but I do want to read this, and it's going to be awesome. Hello! I hope you enjoyed that TBR Shelf Tour. Let me know down in the comments if any of these books are also on your TBR. I'd love to know if any of these are maybe some of your favorite books in 2014 or 2013, or if any of them are books that you're looking forward to in 2015, looking forward to reading them like I am. Okay, until next time, I'll see you guys. Okay, bye. Thanks for watching.